Claudio,
Hello, hello, how are you doing?
come stai, amico mio?
Tutto bene, nice to see you.
It's good to see you. It's funny, I was talking to Alberto and he's like, yeah, you have all the guys like Damir Jumu, Oliver Marach, the players, Kevin O'Neill works with Katie McNally. Like get Claudio and he will do it. I said, oh, all right. So he set everything
Thank
up.
you for having me. Thank you for
Oh
having me.
no,
It's a pleasure. It's been a
it's a
pleasure.
pleasure seeing you again. It's been a while. You presented at my conference. Last year? Last year, right? Last year.
Yeah, it was great. Yes, in New Orleans was really a special time. Thank you again for that to let me be there.
Oh, thank you. Like you did, as I said, amazing job. So much to learn from you. So that's why I invited you. So Claudio, you've been a top 70 player, really, really successful coach. You had like Söderling, Bolelli, Seles. Tell us a little bit. I always like to go back in the time. Tell us a little bit when you started to play tennis. How did it start? Did your parents play, so people can get to know you a little bit?
Yes, I'm from Rome, Italy, and born in '67. So in the '70s, I was a kid, and Italy was a superpower in tennis. They got 5 times in a row in the Davis Cup final. With Davis Cup, that time was huge. It was the most important. And we had one, our legend, our player leader still nowadays, Adriano Panatta, from Rome. And so I grew up by seeing the Italian Open every year and get a passion for tennis. Plus, another luck I had is that my parents moved when I was 1 year old near a tennis club with 22 courts. So it was very easy, accessible for me to play tennis every day. And also at that time, because of Adriano Panatta and the others of the team, many business people want to open a tennis club. So if you see the date of birth of many tennis clubs in Italy is always in the 70s, between 71 and 81. That's how the golden age of that Italy was that time. So I was good timing for me to start to play tennis. Everybody was playing tennis, and that's how it started. And then I had the tennis school and the tournaments, and then there are magazine. I was always having magazine with a poster. I remember I had all the champion poster in my room. So that's. I also was playing soccer until some point, but then I definitely choose tennis.
Now, who was your first coach, Claudio?
Well, the very first coach, the one who put the racket in my hand was my father. He was playing tennis, and then I had a tennis school with the local coach there. That was very good to create an environment. But all Italy was a great environment for tennis that time. So we grew up in the best way possible. We still have a lot of people grow up in my generation or in that period that now they're coaching, and I think we develop a very high tennis culture, and that's one of the reasons why Italians are now back on winning a lot, in the men's and before in the women. And
so when you lived a long time now in the US as well, you had the experience in Europe and Italy. How was I always ask, I like that question, how was the club life? You know how it is here with junior clinics in the US and juniors and, so many people on the court. How did the club life look in Italy when you grew up? Like, did your parents, obviously you had a different situation, you probably spent the whole day there, but did parents drop their kids off in the clubs and pick them up at night? Like, like when I grow up, I miss that. When I look at our clubs, they go to the lesson and go home. There's no more playing with each other. No, like a big family like we had,
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, at that time, without this technology, to play for the kids was playing sports. Either you go to the pool and swim, either you make competition on swimming, you play soccer in the field, or you play tennis. You play tennis tournament. It was all about to move the body. It was all about running. Simply, you go for a run. It was a big park next, so. That's the atmosphere. I think the key word is atmosphere. In the tennis club, there was an atmosphere. Yes, I was walking by myself, even if I was 8, 19 years old, but I was lucky to have very close, nobody had to drive until I was 14, and then I went to National Tennis Center. But it was a great environment, and that's different. I think there is different structure in US. In US, where you can play tennis, is more the schools, the academies. There are It's not only the club, you know, especially very often there is a country club associated, at least here in Florida, is associated with golf, which is very, very expensive and
here too,
you know, and legitimately is member oriented. I mean, it's absolutely legitimate to do that, but then for the kids there is less space. So in Italy was more like a mixture of everything, you know, was a tennis school, was a private lesson, was club tournaments, league, and you know, was all together in the same place. And there are plus and minus, but you know, the atmosphere for sure was very enthusiastic for tennis for everybody, and was very inclusive, was not exclusive.
Okay, so you just mentioned when you were 14 you went to the national center in Italy, you played. So when did you know that, you know, there's more, like that you're a little bit more gifted than others and that you're going to go the pathway of professional player?
Well, I remember exactly the moment this happened in Venice, because it was the national championship under 14. And there was a guy from Milan that never lost. Fantasio Piscopo was really considered unbeatable, and I beat him. And then I won the tournament pretty comfortably, and like 2-2 in semifinal, 2-1 in the final. And then I remember the garden right after. I was still with the trophy in my hand. I started thinking, I was 14, you know, I made the math, you know, I said, if I'm number one in Italy, how many can be better than me in France, in Germany, in the States, in Canada, etc., in Australia? So the final total was that I could easily be in the top 100 within few generations, like born 67, I'm born 67, no? So if I include the guys 65 to 70, so it was realistic that I could play main draw in Wimbledon. I knew that under 28 players are in Wimbledon. I was US Open. I always look at those tournaments as an Italian Open, and so I said, okay, I am in by the numbers, I have a chance, you know. So I said that's what I want to do. I decided that I had the chance to go for it for professional career, and I start to think like that, fighting with my father because it was no mercy for me to not finish the high school at the top level. That was his condition for me to play tennis. So the rackets at that time was in wood, and he told me that if I don't finish the Liceo Classico is the toughest. That's what he wants. I was completely, you know, disagree with that, but now I thank him. Liceo Classico means you have to study Latin, you have to study Old Greek. It was the toughest. At that time, the Italian school were really the best in Europe for sure. And if I don't do that, he burned my racket. That was the the threat.
I like that.
That was the threat, that I have no other option than study. But I was very committed to train, to go to run. At that time, to go to run was such a thing, you know, because it was maybe not directly beneficial for tennis, but mentally it makes you very strong.
Yeah.
Everybody was convinced that the physical training for tennis was go to run every day, 1 hour, and doing a jump rope, a lot of jump rope, and abdominals and push-ups and chin-up. That was the
classic
self-done physical training, and that's it.
And then Claudio, we have like John from Roma. We have Gianluca Croce. Gianluca Croce said ciao a tutti, saluti. You know, it's nice to have. That's what I like about that internet. Obviously, you know, that connects the world. It's fun. Claudio, so who are the top 3 guys you played on tour? Like who that stayed in your memory that you like still sometimes thinking about maybe today?
The top 3 guys. I played with many legends, so it's hard to pick, you know, because I played
top 5.
Okay, so I played Jimmy Connors twice, and I think Jimmy Connors is still the only one is hold the record better than Federer on tournament wins.
Tournament won, right?
He was my favorite player, best fighter ever, I think. For, you know, you remember, our generation remember. I invite the young players to go, now they have time to go to homework and look who Jimmy Connors was and what he did and how he was fighting, to maybe watch one of his matches, how to the internal power he had. It was incredible. I played him in US Open center court, and he was still top 10. It was amazing. 20,000 people in Armstrong center court that time. So this is unforgettable for sure. I played Andre Agassi twice. I played in Rome, and I was in the third set. I was close to beat him. He was 18 years old, but he was he had the year top 10, so he was already top player. and it was a great match. Then Mats Wilander, #1 in the world, and it's my highlight, the one I beat. And for sure I put him there. Mats is a friend, by the way. He's a great guy. He's an incredible example and great commentator. So that's very proud. I mean, he always remind me that I beat him, and he doesn't have to remind me because I remember very well. Yeah, and I played Boris Becker. Boris Becker.
Here we go. My
four times. Boris Becker. I played him in Kitzbühel when he was #1 in the world. And I played.
One question about that I have, Claudio. You know Boris Becker. So like we were watching as coaches a lot of videos, right? So when he served in volley, he landed on his right leg, I think, and ran straight forward always. So how is it? You play a guy. Did you play him indoors as well?
Yes, I played indoors.
So how does it describe how it feels? A guy as big as Boris, right, serving and then running to the net, and the court probably feels like it's so small. So describe that a little bit.
No, for me it was even tougher because he knows me very well. He's also born '67, and we played in junior also, so we knew each other since we are 15. So he knew that I could keep up with him with the forehand, but I couldn't do with the backhand. So he knew very, very easily what is the way to hurt me, and he was punish my backhand. He could do that because I was very fast, but he was playing even for me too fast to move around my forehand. And even on clay, he was coming in with his forehand, with his slice backhand, with his serve and volley. So I knew that he knew, so I didn't know what to do anymore. And I was trying to fight and trying to use my backhand, but I was not good enough for him to keep up with his power. He was overpowering me, my backhand. I played in a tournament, also was not official tournament. It was a huge exhibition in Rome against Pete Sampras, which happened the same thing.
Oh, wow.
So I don't want to forget that.
My idol when I grew up, yeah.
And so I was also, I tried to make, indoor fast happen that before the match in Rome was this called Big Four, the top 4 in the world. They played against each other. Maybe you ask me, what do you do there? I was there because Boris Becker, supposed to play against Sampras, was sick last moment, and they put me as a substitute. So I had to play. That's why I was in the top, in the Fab Four. In the top best 4, something like that in Rome. And so I told him, hey, Pete, you know that they call him Pistol Pete, you remember? So my last name is Pistolesi, so I told him to make him relax and don't be too bad on me. I said, hey, Pete, you know that I'm the original Pistol. So,
that's funny.
Simply because I'm older than him. I have 3 years older than him. So I tried to make him laugh, and there was 2 and 3 was not too bad. But then I can mention Pat Cash, I can mention Yannick Noah, I can mention Miloslav Meshir, I can mention Aaron Krickstein, which I beat, Thomas Muster, I can mention.
Wow. So Claudio,
I played 11 years, so I was very Guillermo Vilas. I can mention a lot of players that they made the history of the game. So.
Wow. So talking about Sampras, I had one question. It was one of my idols too. When I get in discussions with people who arguably obviously had the best serve. So for sure, like what I personally think, his second serve was the best serve we've seen, even in our days. And the first serve for me, I mean, tell us, you played against him and he was young, but tell us how it felt. He disguised the serve so well. So tell us a little bit about the return, trying to return those serves.
To Sampras, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was also experience for me to coach players played against Sampras. I coached David Sanguinetti in Queens. It was a semi-final in Queens. So it was an unbelievable match, and Sanguinetti was one of the best return at that time, and he was able to never be broke. So Sampras won 7-6, 7-6, and Sanguinetti had 8 break points, and he never made one because and 4 out of these 8, I will never forget, was ace from second serve. So Sampras was unbelievable on balance from the toss, turning. The rotational power was double bigger than the others. He was turning it almost. You see the photo that it almost looks like he looks back, and somehow he can put himself together when he turned, and he put all the energy on the ball, and his incredible, powerful second serve. He can go for it like the first serve. So this, I don't think anyone else ever did that again. And to make the first serve similar to second serve again, and I agree with you. The best serve ever to beat Sampras. I still think like you about that.
Okay, nice. It's nice to hear
I
that.
remember, if you want to know, I remember that I was trying to anticipate a little bit the return, the split second to when there's a blind time. It's called blind time because when the opponent toss the ball, you look at the ball, supposed not to see you, so you can make a little step to the right or to the left. It seems that he has a third eye, because every time I move somewhere, he knew it, and he was serving
going to the other
corner.
side.
Yeah, well, the other corner. I don't know how he did that. I never experienced again, and it was incredible. I was indoor fast, so I was really no chance for me. But I tried to be play with dignity, and I did.
Well, that's why I love those lives. You hear stories like you said. When you toss it up and you move to the side, you saw that. So those insights that's priceless to me. I love that. Claudio, before we come to your company and everything, a couple of more things. So what do you think? Being so long involved, like what are the major changes we had? When you played to like a decade later towards today. Like on the tour, like I don't know, like technology, prize money, like what are the main changes you think that happened from when you played to today? Just name a couple that come to your mind.
Well, the first that come to my mind is the okay, is to review the call. This is huge. I can recall many matches, my matches and other people's matches. One for all, Roddick Nalbandian semi-final in US Open, where it's nobody's fault, but the umpire is human being and they do mistakes. And that this is this was a factor that makes you very nervous because you train, you spend the money, you invest in your coach, you travel, you buy the flight ticket, you pay the hotel, and then happened to me that matches are being going in one or the other direction because of bad calls. So since there's okay, maybe it's not perfect now. They are even developing a better technology for that, and. So this was the number one big change to make the player more relaxed. They can rely on a challenge. They can rely on whatever name of the company is taking the lead on that, but they have a challenge. They have this chance. So it's much better the game for that. Then of course, second is prize money. I remember I got quarterfinal in Monte Carlo in 1988. I got I think $9,000, which now I think they got in the qualis. Now I won 6 matches for that. Okay, the dollar was more valuable at that time, but still is not to compare. I had the privilege to be serving 8 years in the Player Council or ATP. In that years, especially 2012, when we fought for the rights of the players to have a higher prize money, especially in the slams. Now, if you lose first round, sounds like crazy for losing one match, you get $50,000. But no, but if you look at the slice of the cake, it's well deserved. And even I think there is a lender to work even more on that. If you see the revenue, this was before the virus. After the virus, you will see. But before the virus, everything was going the direction that the players has to be treated as a professional as the others, and nobody will ever stop me to fight for the players in cooperation with tournaments, but have to be all in the same boat. We are all tennis people, and all we want is to make fair decisions. But the back to your question, the prize money is increased like incredibly, and this allows the players to go longer. When I was playing, Another difference is that the age, the length of the career. When you are 27, 28, at my time, you still consider yourself, the other consider you old. So you start thinking of what you do after career, post-career. Now they easily go to 35, which is great new. The length of the career is much longer because there is more money and there is more science. So this is another
more
difference.
Maintenance of the bodies and all that good
the
stuff.
Science is improved. For us, everything you have, you put ice and that's it.
Claudio, I really want to, because obviously like Ante Pavic is one of your players, and like guys who are so close, in doubles or singles. This is my issue with prize money. Guys who are around, let's say singles, everybody until 100 from below 100 and below, and then doubles everybody basically until you make top 50, 40 or something. So what? How is it possible? This is what I don't understand. Like, I mean, like you play a challenger, you're a young guy and you win a round and you get like $1,000-something if you win it. And then you look, obviously I would never suggest taking from they deserve it, like Djokovic, Federer. Everything has its sense, right? TV rights, everything is good there. But is it like there must be a way how to get money on the lower stages? Look, I you know, seeing friends of mine still, not just the other guys, you know, playing, and they have to see like, well, what am I going to eat like next week, or well, how do I fly to Bogota to play Challenger? If I just make quarters in a Challenger and I made like maybe $1,000-something, you know, so I think, you know, our sport will be so much better, and so much like the density of good players even more once we get to that point that those guys don't have to worry about money anymore, like traveling.
Well, we are two separate answers. One thing, if we talk about money distribution, the amount of money that the players all together, they can, including Federer, Djokovic, etc., Nadal, they can have is X number. So if you want to talk about how to redistribute this number, then I'm with you, and we have to look at that to take like Robin Hood, a little bit less to the top and a little bit more to the bottom. But you know, it's always open discussion, because you know the players said what we bring to the game is much more, and you need agreement of the top players to do that, and it's not easy conversation. You know, they have agents and everything, but there is a land to work there, in my opinion. If we talk about to add new money, then is against all this again is before the virus and hopefully post-virus. If there is this giving and taking, you know, I heard players say, well, I go to futures, I get $50 for sound. Okay, but what you give back? Why, if I put myself in the shoe of a tournament organizer? No, why I have to give you more money? And if the spectator watching you is at zero, if you're unknown on the tour, must be a cut, because if you going to give to top 100 now, you go to top 200, and then the guys behind, they come again, say, why not us? And then the one again behind them say, why not us? So the market makes the numbers on that. You know, we have this famous X number is the one it is that is possible to get. We can work about how to make the game more popular. We can talk about how to improve the communication with the big fan. I think the fan is the most important category, because it's the one who buy the strings, the racket, the shoe. They take the lesson. They make membership for clubs, membership for television, for pay TV, for tennis, and things like that. So we have to look. For example, the speech Andrea Gaudenzi made, which I grew up together with in the National Tennis Center in Italy. I totally agree with Andrea. Is the new chairman of ATP. He says that we're all on the same boat, and tradition is very important. Of course, we have to preserve that, but at the same time, we cannot ignore the need of everybody to make tennis more popular, even within different entity. You know, it's very confusing for a fan. There is ITF, WTA, ATP, slams. Is very confusing. So unified tennis, that's the mission, which is really, really hard. You saw what's happened with Roland Garros decision lately. It's very hard to unify. Each one try to do the best for themselves. They have interest. I understand that, but we have to see the big picture. And back to your questions. So we have to see what is possible and what is. Again, if you talk about distribution of this X number, the revenue of tennis in general, I am with you, and we can open the discussion. But to give extra money, first we must have this money. We must look where the money is to give more money to the player lower ranked or the young, etc. We can try to save money. Maybe we can think about to make more regional. You know, the one huge expenses for tennis is the traveling. So maybe until some point we could make something more within at least your own continent. You know, so you cut the money for traveling, but you know, you make your own schedule, so you can stay closer and try to play and have offer of tournaments more or less all over the world, the same, to be fair. And then when you have more money, you can start to travel more. You know, so otherwise is a race who is more rich, who is better. You know, the one has the finance to go to travel to Asia here and there, Australia, to look for the tournament, then he has an advantage, which is not fair. But it's very, very long way before we can the perfect receipt. That's my opinion. All I said is my opinion, the way I look at it. No,
as you said, you know, like people agree with you. Great answer. You know, they're clapping. You're right. So unifying, and it's a long road to there. Let me see, Claudio, what else I wrote down. Yeah. So coaching. So you coached Seles, Bolelli, Söderling, several others. And is it correct, 1996, Seles, when you coached her, she won the Australian Open?
No, I mean, I was in the team. Yeah, with
Okay.
Monica, I always repeat that she called me as a practice partner. You know, she was number one in the world, and the women has the chance to practice with the men. We are friends. We are the same agent. And I was practicing with her even when I was a top 100 player myself as a friend, and not easy for a man to practice with a woman. I mean, not easy thinking like that. But for me, it always been a pleasure and an honor to play with her when it was top 100. Also had good practice. It was tough to keep, even as a top 100 man, it was hard to keep up with her as a woman.
That's the inside. So she was hitting hard and like didn't miss.
She was unbelievable. And then I was really a huge honor to be in our team. I was not the coach. The coach was her father.
Okay.
Carol, which was a great man, and he likes me, and I like him. And we had a great relation. Unfortunately, he got sick at some point, and when he couldn't travel anymore, then I helped. I was 29 years old. I never coached before, so I just helped to scout the others. I just helped here and there. So I'm not allowed to say I was coaching her. I was not her coach.
Okay.
I was in their team, and I was there when she came. She won the Australian Open '96, and she waved to the team, to the box, and I was within the members of the box. You know, the agent was Tony Gatzik, which now is the agent, and he's a partner of Roger Federer for Levers Cup and everything. So Tony Gatzik is a legend of this field, and I had the privilege to work with these incredible professionals. So I was very lucky, and that's how I start to think of coaching. You know, because then after that I was always disgusting lucky to start with the 4 or 5 hours per day on court with number one in the world. She was more coaching me than me her, you know, because her example was fantastic. She is another level internally. She is a super lady. She was so respectful, so flying high morally, and the courage. You know, I think winning a slam after the stabbing is something that never. I'm president. I don't think there is any comparable achievement in the history of sports, not only of tennis. I have incredible for that. She's for me the best player ever.
And look, from personally, what I wanted to ask you, and I asked Arantxa the question too, and a couple of others. You know, when she was at my conference, so you know, she wouldn't have been stabbed. She was in the prime. She was kicking everybody's butt. I personally believe, you know her obviously, but I think she would have won the most Grand Slam titles, and she was dominating anyone out there.
Yeah, we don't have the proof, but man, she won already 10, 19 years old. So
yeah,
if you even Wing is coming, even Graf is always there, and all the respect. I mean, huge champions, and Navratilova is still playing, and I was practicing with her in 1990. I think she played unbelievable match in Milan final. They said one of the best match ever. Seles Navratilova final in Milan at the huge WTA tournament.
So one match to watch on YouTube for young kids. I have a couple of students that are girls. I want them to watch that. So that's a good one.
I hope it's in the this is unbelievable match. She was practically no mistakes. You know, Navratilova coming in and Monica passing her all match long, and only great points. I remember I watched the match near Paolo Maldini, which is a legend of soccer.
Of course. AC Milan.
Yeah, at AC Milan, he was the captain of Milan. He came, and I was very nervous. I mean, it was. Was watching this match with her father. I was just a practice partner. So I did incredible experience, and Monica is always in my heart forever. And I all the respect for Serena. Of course, it's hard to say who is the best ever, but Monica is in this group for sure. Yeah. What she won after the stabbing, she won a major. I think it's not enough underline and remark what she did, what the huge power, energy, courage she had to do that after the stabbing.
And you coached Bolelli, Söderling. How long did you work with Söderling together, and when was it?
Okay, I started with Rob in October 2010, and we had a huge, fantastic start. You know, we went first to Abu Dhabi, a great match with Roger Federer. Then he won Brisbane in the final against Roddick. I think he was only broke once, and I remember the Roddick speech. after the match, he said, Robin served too well for me today. So say from Roddick, it was a good achievement. And it was true. Robin was unbelievable. And then he got the best result of his life in Australian Open with me, a 4th round Australian Open, because he didn't like to play in Australia. He lost to Dolgopolov. He played incredible. Anyway, and then he won Rotterdam. It's a 500 victory. He beat Tsonga in the final, and then he won again in Marseille. He beat Cilic in the final. So he won, and then 2 matches in Davis Cup. At some point, he had 19 match won and 1 lost.
Wow.
So it was fantastic. Then, we disagree about the training. Coming the clay season, he was nervous about defending the final of French Open. So I think he was trying to push his body too much, I was afraid of injuries. And so we disagree. We're still great friends, incredible mutual respect. And he tried another way to kind of go hard on his body. And then, unfortunately, and I'm not happy at all about that, he publicly said that he should have listened to me. And he had the mono, and then he had to practically quit the career at 27 years old. He was still winning another more tournament in Boston, but then his body gave up, and the mono was stopping him from doing anything else in tennis, which is really incredible pain for me. With or without me, he deserved a chance to hit the number 1, as that was the goal, And for me, only to seriously thinking to coach a player to think to have a project to go number 1, even was hard. At that point, it was number 4. From number 5, he went number 4 with me, and he passed Andy Murray, and it was not so far from Federer, and it was hard, but it's a great achievement only to think about that. So for me, it was incredible experience. I thank him for choosing me. I asked him why you choose me, but then there is another long story. I don't want to waste too much of the time about that, but it was very interesting why he chose me. And then we have one of my best friends now. He invited me in Stockholm. He was here in my house in Florida. We have partnership. It's a great story. Humanly speaking, it's a pity that beside the top name, somebody like Wawrinka, Del Potro, Cilic that won the US Open, for sure Robin was one that he had the chance to get the slam, I think.
Claudio, what is interesting for a lot of guys, coaches and players, and so just with Söderling, one more question, then we come to Claudio Pistolesi Enterprise. So when you Söderling, his patterns of play, obviously he had the humongous serve. So what's interesting for coaches is, what do you guys work on court? Kick serve wide, forehand to the open court, or whatever. What were the patterns you worked with Söderling?
Well, for me, it was clear that he has to go more to the net. He was too much relying on overpower everybody. He could, but then the goal was number 1. He never been number 1. I told him, if you want to do results that you never did before, you need to do training and thinking in a way they never did before, which is playing swing volley, for example. He was never, before me, he was never playing swing volley, and he started to do that. He worked really well. He's incredible. Gifted, so he could do swing volley with closed eyes, I think. So it is shortening the rallies, and so you need to work that hard every point, to win the point. His comfort zone was baseline, but I tried to put him a little bit out of comfort zone, work on the mental part. He was sometimes to go over the border of being nervous. He thought that this gives him energy, but until some limit. I agree with him, but he has to keep this under control, and we did that. He was working well, so the mental part was great, and he went more to the net. Maybe why not to have serve and volley? He did some serve and volley before, was never doing it, and then so things like that. But the job with these guys is absolutely in combination with the physical trainer. Thanks to Robin, I could meet Ali Gellem. For me, is one of the best physical trainers in the world. And
what's the name? So I want to write it down.
Ali, yeah, you should call him sometime for your. This is really precious.
I would love to if you can.
Ghelem, Ali Gellem, is incredible. He's always on the top of technology, how to contribute to the strength and preventing injuries, and so we work really side to side all day long. For example, mobility, nobody think about mobility for Söderling. They always identify him with power, but he has incredible mobility. So his forehand was almost going 360 degrees. He was preparing the forehand because his hips thanks to the job done with Ali, was incredible mobile. So he could use the rotational power in the way no one else could do. So he could overpower Nadal. He did. French Open.
Yeah, French Open, yeah.
Clay.
Even though the balls
so
were like this at that, and it rained,
Yeah.
you know, he's still...
I think that was against Federer the next year. And anyway, that he was overpowered Nadal on clay on Roland Garros. So that's what's because why? Because he was mobile. He had incredible power in combination with mobile. There are tests, you know. Ali invented this mobility test, which is incredible, and that's what's happened with him.
All right. Speaking now, our days today. So Claudio Pistolesi Enterprise. What is that? Is it an academy? What is it exactly? What your company is? Tell us everything about it. Let everything out, like where it is, because I know firsthand from my friends who are with you. You were one of the most humble guys, and everybody loves working with you. And you take care of the players. And what I want to let out here as well is I know you now well too. Like you look deeper into the people, and you're not just superficial. So you really take care of your players, of your friends, of your family, of everybody. And I think this is so important in the business today, because today I think in a lot of things everything is just about money. And I think I met you so many times now. You're very humble, and you go deep into the people. So I love that.
Thanks a lot. I hope to deserve all that. Yes, in 2013, from Italy and traveling. Last job I did in Europe was in Germany. I was director of Sport Check, is a huge club in Munich, and then also for my private life, you know, I married Christina, which works in the ATP in North Florida, in Ponte Vedra Beach, where I am now and live now. And I had to start new ideas for my life, because I always travel. I never stop traveling. As a junior, as a player, as a coach, I travel over almost 30 years. So I had the idea to call, for me, the name has a lot of meaning. You know, enterprise means give me the energy to take initiative, you know, to have new ideas, to explore new land, you know, because academy, there are many. It's great to have an academy, but I didn't want to be called academy because it's, in my mind, at least, maybe I'm not right, but in my mind is a focus on the results, you know, and focus legitimately on practice more, to put a little bit aside the education. And for me, it's crucial to put together the education and the tennis, you know, even with aim to go to professional. That's what I did. I remember the story with my father. No, I don't have other option. I believe that the foundation of good people, good developed people, is the foundation for great athletes. So I always try to, of course, I start to take a look at college tennis. This is exactly what college tennis is: education plus high-level tennis.
Yeah.
Not everywhere in every college like this, but I had the two huge advantages to start to work with colleges, because I'm as ex-player. There are many coaches that are ex-player my generation, and we know each other from 30 years or younger, that they played against the player that I coach. So there is a personal relation with coaches that makes me like a great avenue to introduce the player that I think it fits well with this college, specific college. You know, especially with Italians. I opened the door to Italy, which 7 years ago was very practically unknown in college tennis. And I as Italian, I know why, because they have no clue about, it's not enough to be a good player. You need to be a good student, you need to be speaking English well, you need to pass the test. And I start to train the CP camps. The CP stands for Claudio Pistolesi Enterprise. I do the camps in the summer mainly, but not only for Italians, but they came many Italians. Nowadays we have 25 players, Italians, that has been or they are now at college. You know, including Giovanni Oradini, Mississippi State is top 5 in the NCAA, and Corrado Summaria and Pepperdine is going to be one of the best. He's doing amazing.
And Alberto, who connected us.
Yeah, and one of the pride I have is Alberto De Meo. That is incredible. It's incredible.
Great guy.
He's with me every day. It's like a
son.
Son for me, and he's helping me. He absorb a lot of informations, and I start to learn from him now. And that's the beauty of that. And he's one of the first pioneer come to CPE when he was 18, and he went to Virginia Tech first, and then he graduated in UNF here in North Florida. And now he is one of the member of a coaching team I have in Bowles School. You know, our base is in Jacksonville. In high school, it's called Bowles School. We manage 8 courts, But then, beside the CPE, last year I started to join and to be director of JTCC Florida. You know, this is another story. I know it's very complicated, but this is incredibly proud. Let me say that about the JTCC.
Yeah, we have all the time in the world, Claudio.
Yeah,
All good.
Yeah. JTCC is a junior tennis champion center. Headquarters is in Maryland. They brought a ridiculous. We brought incredible number of players at college, and Francis Tiafoe grew up literally there, and Dennis Kudla as well. And nowadays, Robin Montgomery, she's a rising star. She won the Orange Bowl at 15, and she just won before the virus stopped everything. Great honor for me, and I'm grateful to Ray Benton. He's one of the best agents in the history of sport. He's the CEO, and Vesa Ponka is the director of it's somebody I keep
Claudio,
learning
you're breaking
so much,
up a little bit.
That's the main thing for me. Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, now it's better again. So you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah,
All
so right now CPE is included as a partner with JTCC, which is incredible network now. You know, it's incredible network we have. We interact a lot with Maryland, with near Washington DC in College Park. We go there, they come here, and that's makes me very proud to grow and to have a better network, working with college even better than before, and create a culture. So back to your question, CPE mission. What is CPE mission? Is to create a tennis culture. You know, that's my story. My name is there. 35 years of tennis, high level. I've been not only traveling for tournaments, I've been living in different countries. I've been living 3 years in Japan, 3 years in the States, in Germany, in UK, in Sweden. I've been always following my players. So I was moving myself to the place where my player is from. But this was incredible, rich experience for me. The life took me away something from one side, but it gave me so much, especially in international tennis culture. From other side, I had a coach from Czech Republic. You know, Czech that time Czechoslovakia. They have great tennis culture. So I try to take the best each culture, each coaching system, each ideas, and I made my own way based on my experience. So that's what I want to bring into the picture. And as European, I think I can bring the European, Italian culture to America, and I can absorb and appreciate and learn so much from American culture in the States. I think when you interact and you switch and you share, this cannot be wrong. The tendency is always to take the best one another, the best of the culture one another. So that's tennis. Tennis is traveling. Tennis is international. It's universal. Yeah. That's why I agree with Andrea Gaudenzi when he says that we have to be united as a tennis people. There is no border. You know, reminds me the song of John Lennon. No? Imagine there is no borders. Yeah, I
totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then of course this time the Davis Cup is a different country. Now there is ATP Cup, which has some plus and minus, I think. But we have this mainly the unifying, the universal, the United Nations should work with tennis, because you know everywhere in the world there is a tennis court. There is coaches, there are players, there are tournaments, practically in every corner of the world.
And it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're like whatever, it doesn't matter. It brings everybody together, right? So I think that's the beauty of our sport.
Men and women, you know, there's, men and women, and they have the same visibility on that. Maybe it's probably the most important women sport in the world. If I'm a parent, I want to see if my daughter can play tennis first, and then I see other sports. All the respect with other sports. So that's the mission of CP, to create a culture very inclusive, listening, learning, and that's the meaning of my life now. And I'm thankful to JTCC to give me the opportunity to express myself on that. You know, that's what I do every day, and I try to invest a lot on my coaching team, including Alberto. I want to mention Coach Matthew Lichtenstein is a new coach coming last year to us. He's a great person. He's American, but he travels a lot. You know, he's very open-minded and is bringing so much into the picture. And Danielle Wiggins was there before me. And also I have to say that in our school, Bowles School, before me, the director was Mr. Brian Gottfried. So this is another blessing that I have in my life, because Brian grew up not only as a top player. Many remember he was top 3 in the world as a player, number 1 in the world in doubles, and one of the most beloved, respected person in the entire world of tennis. He was my coach when I was a player. He was my best man at my wedding, and his idea was to take his place as director of JTCC Florida. I'm so thankful. And the previous 5 years, he did a great job to grow this tennis culture in North Florida, to create in a very prestigious high school this philosophy of growing the person first, and to develop the passion of tennis, and to be not too picky to the results, but to develop the player, to develop the game. And Danielle learned a lot from him, and I'm very privileged that she is in the coaching team. So we are the 4 of us, and we do our best every day to do that.
Wow, as you said, the enterprise is just more than teaching tennis. It's like so many facets. It was interesting, to get an insight. I didn't know, that's why I asked you as well. I knew you had like players there and coaches, so to hear the whole story about it, pretty big and pretty big accomplishment what you achieved creating all that. And as you see, Claudio is a man of passion, right? So as you said, you traveled with all your players when you had to. You saw the world, and I think that's what you have to do to be where you are, my friend. So that's a good thing.
Also, by coincidence, I just noticed, I didn't do it on purpose. Behind me, you see what is behind me? Is the map of the world.
Wherever you travel to, the world map.
Yeah, that's I'm in my kitchen, but that's what we have in our kitchen, the map of the world, and all the places where I've been. So that's maybe I didn't do it on purpose, but that's maybe express well what I want to.
I love that. Maybe I'll get there one day too. Like I traveled a lot, but maybe I'll pick up. And then Daniel Orsanic, you're the funniest guy, telling a big guy. And please tell a joke, please too. Claudio, let me see.
Let me say hi to Daniel. Daniel is a great friend. He's a great person, great coach. He was a great player. He beat me once. I tried to distract him with the jokes, but I couldn't beat him. I was in Louisiana, I remember, in Slovenia. But we had so much fun, and I love him so much, and a big hug to him.
Yeah, Daniel, I want to get you as well on the live. Like, we were riding, and he follows Tennis House a little bit, which makes me happy. And he's a great guy. He has some good lives with Schwartzman, all the guys in Argentina.
Yeah, so, Davis Cup winner as a captain, Davis Cup winner.
Yeah.
When the Davis Cup was the one we know. Yeah.
Daniel, I can do one in Español si quieres también. So we can do one in Spanish if you like, if you want that. We will for sure, he said. Claudio, this was fantastic. It's so, getting insights when you were coaching Söderling, your past, your passion, what you created, and you're one of the biggest names in the game in the US. You're growing your culture. It's nice to see, and for us younger guys, I'm no younger anymore for me, but for me, looking 40. So so looking up to you and learning. As I said, we have Andy Brandy who joined us.
Big hello, great coach,
Great coach, Andy, through Tennis House. I think you guys saw each other at my conference. So I think, every person that can do something to bring tennis together, especially in those hard times like now, is something good, I think. So, Andy, thanks for watching. Daniel, Claudio, thank you so much. I was going to say thank you so much, my friend. I hope we see each other soon. As you mentioned earlier, Alberto is a great guy. I'm in contact. I met him in Del Rey the first time when he went with Ante there. And we became friends now, good friends as well. We're on the phone, so he's a great kid. And yeah, thanks for everything you did, and will do for our sport.
I'm the one thanking you. You're doing great. Congratulations. We met, and I've been in New Orleans with you, and I really admire you for the passion you put on it, the energy. If everybody would have your passion, then it would be at the top. And really, congratulations, and always available. And I say hi to Ante, our common friends, Ante Pavic, that I'm coaching, and with Alberto, and now is doing very well in doubles. And all the best and congratulations. Big hi to everybody. I send a big hug in these difficult times to all of you. And let's stay united. The tennis has been created to be united, the people, to make the people united and to help each other and to compete with each other, of course, but to achieve great things together. That's my meaning for tennis. Thank you,
love
guys.
That. Thanks, Claudio. Thank you so much, Claudio. We stay in contact. If you ever need anything, you know, you can contact me, and I hope to see you soon after that virus again.
All right. Please take care. All the best.
Thank you, Claudio.